another live stream coming at you hot. Not for much longer because the cold's coming in, brother, and I ain't excited, but coming at you hot from beautiful Hampshire, Illinois. Making a lot of noise out here. I'm gonna let some people filter in, so if you're watching this secondhand on YouTube, feel free to skip forward 30 seconds, maybe a minute. I'm probably just gonna be babbling about garbage that no one really cares about, just to fill time so people can filter in and see the live stream, you know what I mean? So sorry about that, but that's the nice thing about watching it after it's been recorded is you can just hit that skip forward, and you don't have to deal with my babbering bull. So we've done some few things. I guess let's start out with Captain Helmet over here. Look at him go. What's the word, CJ? Our main man has been doing a whole heck of street tuning with Jeremy. So we got this thing in the house. Let me pop the door and show y'all what's good. I got a scumbag Ray into a wash for it. So you can see, look. Oh my God, guys, look, data logging, street tuning. Wow. I want to get one of these so bad. Like this thing, like I love my 300, but like it's just a little nicer. I don't know. Maybe I get a newer Gen 300. I don't know, folks. But I mean, like, you know, LS3 D1X. I mean, come on, baby. Does it get better? Probably. It probably could. Maybe if it had turbos. But to be fair, this thing makes a good amount of power. It's going to be reliable. It's going to make all the right noises. He's got the big red race blow-off valve that I can stick my finger through. So it's making all the right sounds. So our boy Ray is going to be happy with this one. Look at that little LS3. You know, in 50 years, someone's going to pay like $500 for this just because it's numbers matching. Fascinating stuff. So we got that. Shot car's back on the dyno. I'm sure you guys saw the intake testing. I don't know if I'm going to show it yet, the numbers. I think I'm going to wait till old J-Dog is in the house and he can explain it a bit better. Look at all these leaves. Not a fan of that. Gonna have to put her on the chip. A little two-step action out of the dumps to clear her out, brother. So let's see what else we got. See what else we got in here. We got twin turbo Trackhawk. This is a gutted blower setup, hence why there's no pulley here. Hence why there's no supercharger belt. This one, I don't know where it went. We are doing a new alternator on it. We're doing an upgraded alternator for upgraded voltages. That way, if he wants to put a sound system in there, whatever it may be, he can do it. So that is also another thing that I don't see talked about that often, is once you're making high horsepower, especially, you know, now these cars are getting older, you know, these aren't 1-year-old vehicles anymore. We're getting up there. Alternators, you know what I mean? Sometimes the charging system just does not stand up to the test. I mean, let's see. That guy, he had to do upgraded alternator. He had to go to a Metchman. We have that yellow big boy Vortec car. He also had to upgrade his alternator. We got Paul, there's another Challenger. He had to upgrade his alternator. Once you start getting over that 4 digits, you know, if the charging system isn't happy, I mean, the shop car, before when we had a stock alternator, I want to say, like at the top of the pass, our voltage was like 11.5. So not the best. You want to keep things consistent, keep things happy-dappy. That ain't the way to do it. This son of a gun is a freshie. So this is a brand new fresh build. It's probably the cleanest. I mean, if you guys know WK1s, you know WK1s. Look at that. Look at this, folks. Look at this. This is crazy. That's like the only rot. And like, y'all know the frame rails are full of foam. So this just goes. It's mint, brother. This thing is gorgeous. And he's got the 6-pot conversion on it. So he's got all of it. So it was a fresh build. It came in. We're doing our magic on it. We're going to start with a health check naturally to make sure everything's happy before we go and dump a bunch of power at it. But when we went to do the compression test, it wouldn't crank. So right now you can see starter. Yeah, starter. We're putting a new starter in it. We're doing an OEM unit. I don't know exactly where they are at on it. What I do know is this is a knock sensor. Hi, little buddy. But yeah, new OEM starters going in it. We confirmed starter. No happy. So that is where this one is at. Once that's done, we're gonna keep going on the health check, and then it's on to tuning. So this is gonna be a nice one. It's a clean one. I mean, again, WK1 people, you know what happens back here. It's clean. It's stupid clean. Like, this is one of those that, like, everyone came out of the office, everyone kind of stopped what they were doing to look at it. Like, it doesn't have dents. It doesn't have chips. Like, it's mint. Like, there's no curb rash. There's no clear coat peeling. This thing is immaculate. This thing is loved. You can always tell when someone really, really loves their car. This one right here. So I can't wait to see what she does. Let's see what else we got going on. We got a little bit of gas. We got a Hellcat motor. Actually not a Hellcat motor, but whatever. You know what I'm saying. We do have a Hellcat long block for sale. No blower. We also have this weird thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Let's take a looky. All right. If you just did a Hellcat Stage 1, fuel system upgrades, maybe injectors, depending on what we did, and then ethanol content gauge. We can either do multiple tunes, where when your ethanol content changes, you flash a different tune, or we can set it up for the censored flex fuel, where you just pump gas and go. If you want, shoot me a message on that number where I was texting your quote over. That way, when the live stream is done, I can get you taken care of and I can get you quoted out. But this one, little bit different than what we normally do. But technically we do work on just about anything. But this is a very, very, very good friend of the shop. Picked up what is essentially their dream car, is the little STI action. You know, you got the Brembos, you got the 6-speed, you got the smart diff and all that. And you got the fancy STI, bro. But yeah, this thing's sick. He picked it up, kind of like a dream car. It was making a little bit of noise. Almost sounded like a timing tensioner. And then we're pulling it in here to inspect it, and then the noise just went away. Normally, Subarus don't have noises, and then noises just start. Not the other way around, where they just disappear. So we got to look into this one, see what's going on with her. Jeremy likes it. Arturo likes it. Jeremy was a Subi guy for a while. And obviously our boy Arturo as well. You guys think I should go bother Ao while he's doing his job and doing important stuff? That sounds like a fun time. He said he was going to spray me with brake cleaner, but I don't buy it. There he is. What up, Ao? What you got for us? Oh, we got some brake. Oh. One thing about Ao, he ain't a liar. He said, you come over here and get on that B, I'm going to spray you a brake clean. I got served up. Let's see what else we got. We got our main man, Mr. Matt. I'm not going to show him for fear of my life, but getting this little 5.7 Hemi orange package Durango all clean. I kind of like these Hemi orange ones, honestly. It's something that really wasn't, I never saw it like widely discussed or talked about. When they were new, it was just kind of like, oh yeah, we offer that. But like, if you guys haven't seen one, it's actually not bad. Like, there's a lot of like little details that, you know, some people, I'm not paying all that for that. But like, this is cool. This is some OEM plus stuff I'm going to do when I get one of these in 10 years, is just hunt one of these down and take everything. But like orange stitching here, there, here too. It's got the Brembos on it, also orange. It's got the hood stripe. The hood stripe does not follow back, but you could probably add one aftermarket if you want. And then it's got the orange badging here. I'm not going to open the hood because he is washing it and there will be water. Oh, he'll pop it. Okay. He said, I'll do it so I don't beat you. But not only is everything orange on the inside, And outside it's orange here too. Yes, sir. She has a Gen 6 3.0 Whipple on her. It's literally that. It's stock everything else, but it's got a Whipple and it makes power and it sounds great and it moves out. It's a killer setup. Honest to God, you want a fun grocery getter, you don't want to break the bank, go get yourself a 5.7 Durango, slap 6 to 8 pounds on it, you're set. It's going to be a ton of fun. You're not going to beat Trackhawks, naturally, but you're going to have a ton of fun. You're going to, drag RTs. You're going to be able to hang with, if not take a decent amount of things on the road that aren't modified. Obviously, there's always bigger fish, but this is a really fun setup. I can attest to it. I ran the same kind of setup on a pre-Eagle, so I was making way less power, and it's simple, stupid fun, folks. So definitely something to think about if you're deciding what to do with your 5.7. A level 5, which is a boosted setup, is a killer idea. So definitely think about it. I'm gonna leave this up because I don't know if he's gonna be drying that. I don't know. I enjoy life and I don't want that to start hitting me. So that's kind of where we're at there. What up, Austin? We are still waiting on that motor. Once she gets in, we will let you know, and then she will be getting on a lift, but we are still in the waiting, unfortunately. So not too much longer now, Haas. Let's see what we got. We got some Streamception.
Don't show.
Well, we need a review.
No, we can't.
A one bite review.
We can't.
You don't show the wrapper.
You just showed the wrapper.
I did it. I didn't show it in full form.
I just watched it
They
happen.
didn't see the name on it.
my
They don't
God.
know. It's not.
New guy. It's so different on Facebook or YouTube and Facebook. We got to be careful.
They're not going to demonetize us for free advertising.
Oh, dude, they demonetize people for a toe slipping out the
like
wrong time.
music, yeah.
Yeah, well. No, it's on there. It did me dirty. You got me in the middle of them. Heck yeah, I'm carb loading.
Hi guys, how you doing? I'm having a great time today.
You can go get your.
Yeah, I got mine there.
Sure.
I was just talking about I was showing the Subi. I was showing the detailing, showing all the sick STI badging on it. It's everywhere.
Beautiful car.
It is, honest to God. I always want one, and then I just
So did I. And 3 later, I still want one.
Look at Arturo. He's like, I'm done with this Subaru. And then he got the exact same thing, just not a hatchback.
Yeah. So.
You gotta love it, folks.
What's going on, everybody?
Got a lot of fun stuff today.
I'm almost done, so we'll let him babble on a little bit.
Oh, no, I was just gonna start eating that. But, I'm in the market for a Honda Del Sol or a
What?
Honda Civic, because mine's cranking and not starting. And honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna part it out and get another one. We'll see. Probably not. But
strange.
My $400 car is broken. Who can imagine it? Who can believe it? Who could have predicted it?
Oh.
I don't know why. Also, my fog lights stopped working. At the same time, I stopped getting spark. Are they related? Probably not. They could be.
Did your battery fall out from the rust?
No. It was at 8 volts, though, because my clutch switch, the little rubber stopper, had broken, so it was just constantly connected. So then I went to start it. Slow cranked. I pulled out the old security system, installed my new ignition switch because my ignition switch had died. Without first testing to make sure, hey, let's put charge in the battery, make sure it still starts because it has sit for a week.
Yeah.
Whatever. So I'm going to bring it here and we're going to do a health check on it, which is a good idea if you just bought a project car that you want to understand something about. And before I'm going to add power, get a health check so you know what you're starting with. I'm going to bring it in and we're going to find out I have no compression. So I'm not going to add power to it. So pro tip, y'all.
Pro tip.
Pro tip.
All right. Now enough about Hondas. I'm done eating, so he can start eating. So a little late start on the food day. So
My bad.
I apologize in advance if my voice sounds weird and I'm low on energy. My daughter had a sleep study done last night. And if any of you have been involved with that in any way, shape, or form, it's not fun. They put you in a closet with a mattress squeezed in and hook like 40 wires up to my poor little daughter. And she was a squid monster with wires coming off of her and had to try to sleep that way. So, and then they wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning and kick you out. So, yeah, it was a good time. But we made it. We're here. No sleep in.
$75 shipping on a $5 sticker. We're still trying to get the shipping figured out.
Yeah. Is it on Shopify?
Yeah, it's on Shopify. It's
they control the Shopify shipping rates are very strange. So for a sticker like that, just shoot us a message and we'll get you. But shipping it does cost more than the sticker. It does. I will tell you that. Not $75, but
no.
Unless it's out of country, that's a possibility then. But I don't control that shipping pricing. That's actually pulled from the vendor. So yeah, just shoot us a message. We'll get you set up though. So getting into the subject at hand. Now that we got that behind. Good question. So we'll answer that in a second. So first we'll talk about the subject at hand. So everybody, since we have our 392 shop car, we have our 392 intake manifold. Now, something that goes along. So for those that don't know, we got, a couple dozen people in here. We hold the record for the fastest and quickest stock bottom end 392 in both the Charger Challenger platforms. So nobody's gone quicker through the quarter mile than we have with the 1045. What also is kind of impressive about that is we did it with the stock one of these. We also did it with stock throttle body. We also did it in over 1600 DA. We also did it with the car weighing over 3,750 pounds with me in it. So it's not like a super glory pull per se. We are trying to go back to the track now that the DA here is sub 500, even negative if we can get it on the right day. So we are trying because I feel if we truly dial in the suspension and get that DA, we probably will see a 1020 out of her. But it was done with a stock intake manifold. Now, what we see all over the internet is everybody is trying to throw Holley high rams onto their NA setups. Now, we're not talking like big stroke motors that, maximum compression that are designed to rev to 9,000 RPM. I'm talking these guys just put a baby cam in it and then they put a Holley high ram on it. Or they don't even have a cam and they're doing a
stock 5.7 headers and
90 millimeter throttle body and a Holley high ram. And then we go back to, I can say this for now, and I do hope somebody beats me, but right now, nobody has gone quicker than we have in the quarter mile with a 392, and we had a stock intake manifold. So we figured we would kind of dive in and really, help those understand why this intake is superior to that of a Holley high ram. Did he get his food?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. Don't say that.
And this is why we need to debunk this whole Holley high ram fad that's going on, okay? And also porting of them. When is it necessary? When is it not? Bigger throttle bodies, when? Same type of concept. So, I literally took this manifold to Joe at Billet Evolution. I said, Joe, I have ported heads on my car, and I know for a fact on the bottom here, these runners, okay, are smaller. The opening here is smaller than what's on my head. I do know that, okay? So I said, Joe, I want you just to match it. So then what do I get back? There we go. I'm missing half of my intake.
He misinterpreted.
I think he misunderstood the assignment.
To be fair, they're bigger openings.
They're bigger. Now the problem, it's bigger than, it's a wide open throttle body all the time, at least in a handful of cylinders. So jokes aside, the reason we did this is to get a 3D scan of the inside so we could get a more sophisticated and a better approach to porting the manifold. But in the process, I thought it would be cool to show everybody how this actually works. I will be honest, early stages, I tried looking on the internet to find anybody that has this, and I couldn't find anything. Neither could Joe. So, in the process of us, coming up with our program for the shop car to get a port match on the base of it, we figured we could show everybody how this works, okay? So, it pretty straightforward. Let's see if we can get a good angle of it. All right, so everybody knows this is how they look from the top, right? And what a lot of people forget or don't realize is this is only actually a portion of the runner when it's in long runner mode. So the 392s have what's called the SRV or short runner valve, which is basically a motor that's on the rear of the intake that then will adjust these flaps that you see here, and I'll give a close-up of it. And it basically kind of blocks and redirects the air so that it goes from a long runner to a shorter runner. Now, why would I need that? What is the point? The easiest way to remember it is the longer the runner, the more low-end benefit power-wise that you get. Okay?
LL, long equals low.
Right. So then as you go to a shorter runner, that goes to the high end. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why you see people go to the high ram. Now, this is also where people get confused because you have to cut your hood for a high ram, and people think that, oh, the runners are longer because it's no, that's not the case. High rams actually have very short runners. And to give you an example, it's very hard to show. You can try and hold it. Thanks. So,
ow.
So what I'm going to show you is over here, this is where a port is for a back cylinder, okay? All the way over here. So you can see in the bottom, here's the port, okay? So then it goes all the way over here, and then we actually cut a hole in the bottom to show that the runner actually starts here, okay? So we cut it, and the runner starts here. So the air enters here and then loops around, go down.
Okay.
So here, right there's a good angle. It actually enters in about right here, and it loops all the way around before it gets into the actual head. So it's a very long runner in that sense. And this is also why Eagle manifolds without the runner valves make very good low-end torque, because they have very long runners. It's very similar to this shape where it wraps all the way around and then going into it, okay? They just don't have the short runner valve. So the beauty of this is with that motor at a given RPM, we can then essentially try to redirect the air in which, oh, here we go.
That'll do it.
That'll do it right there. So with the motor in place, see where my hand is there, all right? We have a little flap so you can see it open and close here. Now we completely destroyed this one, so just so you guys are aware, because you can see this one's not even connected anymore. So this one's still connected, okay? I'm going to show you how far that runner opens on a standard 392. Ready? Boom.
That's it.
That's it.
All it opens. That's what we set the record with, is that tiny little opening.
It literally just does that. Boop. That's it.
Pathetic.
Barely can fit a finger underneath it. But by doing so, it basically is cutting the runner length in half. So if we look at it again from the point of where that entry is, right? We now go from essentially right here to here. So you're cutting that runner length in half.
All that
right.
is now that.
Right. So if you think of a Holley high ram and you see their runners, it's about right here.
That.
Right? It's
so
not
it's
much
basically
different.
like just having the short runner valves locked open on a stock intake.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think the camera's going to be able to show the inside of it.
I can flip it.
No, it's fine. Well, anyways, but as you see, it's kind of, it might be hard to tell, but these flaps on here have kind of an archway to them that go with the flow of the runner. So naturally, as the one end goes down inside, it disrupts the air and allows it to redirect and come back around. Now, the only downside to this, based on where it enters the runner, is it does have kind of a 180-degree adjustment it has to do for getting the airflow into the cylinder head. This is why on a dyno graph on a stock car, you see that massive dip, because there is a massive turbulence that happens on the initiation of it before it fully redirects the airflow. So this is why the 392 intake manifold is great, okay? I mean, it really is a good manifold, and people ditch it way too early. Way too early, in my
Is it only
opinion.
good for the 6.4s, or does the same concept apply if you're building a 5.7 or a 6.1?
Great question. And we actually throw these on Eagle 5.7s all the time. I will be honest, I haven't thrown one on a 6.1. Would be interested to trying to see how that would turn out. But yeah, we do it on Eagles all the time, and I will, they don't really pick up a ton of low to mid-range because the 5.7s, like I said, have long runners. But the peak, it carries that, the top end, it carries the RPM or the horsepower and the power curve way further out into the RPM. So you get the ability to switch it because on the 5.7s, we use an MDS or MSD window switch. So that way we can pick the RPM in which we want to optimize it, so it fits with the VVT, or if you get rid of that, whatever the case may be.
Is there one set RPM to put the window switch at? Or
No, it changes.
Oh.
It changes. I'm just going to put it behind us so it's
There he goes.
So, we still can point at it for those that are jumping in later. The general RPM will be based on dirty. That never happens. Oh dear. The RPM is based on a lot of things. The modifications, the vehicle, the mileage. I mean, it's one of those. We have a general area, and I'll be honest, it's between 4,500 and 5,000 RPM, depending on the vehicle. Right. I will be straightforward on the shop car. I have it way lower than what I normally do on other cars. And again, that came from my AI device, my little website thing that I have, AI review, logger review, I guess you can call it. And my dynoing, I realized mine is different. And I do it with all cars. What?
Did you only have one?
One what?
I got you 2 biggie bags, bro.
I know, I ate them all.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn! Bro.
Damn! Sorry.
It's gonna make me self-conscious of my figure now.
No, you have a very sightly figure. It's just you be consuming food.
Yeah. Well, I'm carb loading. Carb loading. Yeah, I got football on Sunday. So, yeah, that's why this intake manifold, guys, is superior in my opinion. And I know a lot of people. We've done a ton of testing, so like that 5.7 subject of the 392 manifold, I've had a lot of people, that have said otherwise or say they put it on and lost power. I'll tell you, the only way you're losing power by putting that intake on is if the short runner valve is not working. And I tested that actually on the shop car. I don't know if you showed in the dyno sheets.
I did not yet.
We were doing a lot of testing on the shop car with playing around with the RPM and stuff, and I basically fully disabled the short runner valve, so it stayed in long runner the whole way through. The thing made like 538 or 539 foot-pounds of torque and 500 wheel horsepower. So I lost over 35, 40 horsepower up top because of that valve not working or engaging at the RPM it should.
That's not like minor losses, folks.
Yeah,
that is significant.
Yeah, it's very evident to tell in a dyno pull as well if it's working or not, especially when you're trying to dial something in. So I've never had an application where the benefit was not there. What does that bother you? You just like our own thing.
Yeah, you got it, bro. The algorithm.
Yeah, but it says 7 there, and it only says 2
because
there.
it hasn't been updated, but that helps.
Oh, okay. So
we need more.
That's how it works. That again, it's very straightforward. It's flaps in all of them. It has a rod that goes through it that just synchronizes them all, and that's pretty much it. It barely moves, but you can see the impact that slight opening makes by reducing the runner length in the manner that it does. So
huge difference.
Huge difference. Very cool there. So we will be porting an intake to port match on our shop car because of the mods that are coming in advance. And honestly, I don't really have plans of doing a larger throttle body at this point either. I just know that the port on my head is bigger than the actual intake manifold I'm using. So why not smooth it out and have it match at least on the entry? Now, the other thing too, if you didn't pay attention, is the actual plenum on these things is huge. They have a ton of volume capability
on the
inside of each of those runners, and it does actually taper down. So the actual plenum volume and diameter, is much larger than one would think. I mean, you can see the depth that it has there. You know what I mean? It's a very massive opening, but it actually tapers down to the outlet that goes into the head. And they did it. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's one of those where, putting a port. And then this is another thing we can debunk on it.
When it's filthy.
Yes. So when people say, "Oh, I have a ported 392 intake manifold on my stock head application," why is that not beneficial? Well, here's the reason why. When you port the runner on that, the opening on it, you then make it bigger than the actual port on your head. So now you're creating a turbulent situation where, this is, let's say, the edge of your port, right, on your head, and then you port your intake manifold, go over here. Well, air is going to run into it and creates turbulence. It literally disrupts the airflow, and that's what you're doing if your heads aren't ported, okay? Now, with a properly port matched head, it's okay, but what I have seen on these is people overport them too much. Again, if the port on this is bigger than your head, you're going to create a disruption in airflow. And that's the most common issue I see when people run or go with a ported 392 manifold is it's over ported. It does not need that much, guys, okay? So That's where port matching could be beneficial, but guys tend to take too much out. And then you're going to slow down velocity, but then you're also going to disrupt it if there's a step from the head to the intake. So stop throwing ported intakes on cars without ported heads. And then if you're doing a ported head, if you're going to port it, port match it. Don't make it bigger again, even smaller. This is stock. The port on my head is huge compared to this, and this car pumps out 530, 540 wheel on a 60, 70 degree day like we have today. And it's unported in a stock throttle body. So I really don't want to see people advertise that there's a benefit to getting a 90 millimeter throttle body and a ported intake manifold on their stock car. There is zero. It actually negatively impact your power, okay? Same thing if you have a 5.7 and you're throwing that on. Believe it or not, the ports on these are bigger than 5.7 heads. So that's one reason why slight disruption. So if you have a set of ported heads, 5.7 heads, and you throw this on for an NA setup, it works out very well. But do keep that in mind. You are kind of doing that with the 5.7s.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah, you know firsthand.
Yeah, I just gasket matched mine. I didn't even check the... It's sloppy, I'm going to be real with y'all. I did it on the heads. The heads aren't even legitimate castings, so who cares? But
yeah, so this is why that's superior, and guys, stop. The reality is there a moment where a highly high ram may be beneficial compared to this one? The high rams have the ability to really flow very well. They're very direct in the runner. Like I said, this one, it does still loop around and do a 180 essentially to get the air into the head. Once you're at speed and the air is flowing, it has minimal effect, at high RPM. But that is where the highly high ram will shine a little bit. But you will lose a ton of low to mid-range power. So it's going to be application specific. It's also going to be based on your torque converter and your cam specs, right? So we've talked before on the shop car that we don't have this cam spec to rev over 6,800 RPM. It starts falling off before that. So we aren't trying to rev this setup to the moon. It is a very reliable style for a stock bottom end application. So there really is no reason to get a highly high ram. Would I possibly make a little bit more peak horsepower? Sure, but the fact is the overall power curve where this car will be utilized, it's not beneficial, right? Like I said, we shift this thing technically at like 66, and it drops back down into a massive torque band where if I did a highly high ram, I'd be losing some of that. So it's really, like I said, we've been trying to prove and shout out there that you can, do more with less. And this is a perfect reason on why we should stop doing the highly high rams on kind of cookie cutter and basic applications. You are leaving horsepower on the table and performance on the table by porting these in most occasions, by throwing larger throttle bodies on. Anybody can argue with me. I currently have the record. And even if somebody does beat me with something they have, I guarantee it's not going to be as simple as a setup. It's going to be a totally different design and not as streetable. This car, I throw an interior back in it, and this is a street car. Yep. I found an interior. I'm excited. I actually will be able to drive the car. Yeah. So,
read plates.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you can borrow the one off the Magnum.
No, I can't. That's illegal. Don't recommend that, felony. Okay. So we don't do that here.
No.
So yeah, I mean it's one of those. That cam profile that's in there, we have in cars all over the place with stock torque converters. It's not required to go with anything bigger. So it's one of those that again, is it possible I did more if I had a slightly more aggressive cam spec with a little bit more duration on both aspects. The lift is pretty good, but if I were to throw a lot more duration at it and really stretch the RPM up to 7,500 RPM, would that, be beneficial for a race car if I put a 4,000, 4,500 stall into it and rev it that high and need to rev it that high? Sure, but again, red light to red light on the street, at the track, I kind of have proven a point. So that's why we're just educating more people on how these work. Pretty cool to see the inside. Very simple. Very, it's kind of fun sometimes to see how and why they do the things they do and the testing that goes behind it. So, yeah, it's been pretty fun so far.
I'm going to keep it.
Except that was expensive.
Yeah, that. Yeah, he was cutting into it. He was like, hey, what's the price on those?
Yeah, they went up.
Yeah.
They went up. Yeah. Yeah.
If you're thinking about your own 6.4 swap, highly recommended. It's a great intake all around, whatever. If you happen to have a pre-Eagle, and I believe a 6.1 as well, because of the like engine coolant temp positioning, how the block kind of rises up,
Oh, yeah.
you need to use intake spacers. I tried shaving it down. You crack into your water jacket very quickly. So my block is held together. I'm not even joking. My block is held together with JB Weld.
Yeah.
So don't do that. If you need intake spacers, we might be able to make them. I don't know if Joe's going to kill me for saying that, but
Well, we have designs for it. But the other thing to consider
also
is
the intake port matching.
when you do intake spacers, you're now extending the runner volume.
So my runner length
right.
is now this much longer
Right.
than any other 392 manifold.
Right.
So low end, okay, you know, I got it there, but it is going to hurt my top end. If I took an apples to apples setup, I'm not going to have the same top end if I didn't have the spacers. But
Right.
it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make because of the benefits I get out of it.
Right. Yeah. So it's also you know, the other holy grail of intake manifolds from the OEM outlook on the Gen 3s is the 6.1 intake. The 6.1 intake is technically
one.
like a medium length runner. So that's why it's very well done, because it's in between that of like a 392 short long runner situation, or it's a little shorter than a 5.7. So by doing so, it gives you a very consistent and average power curve across the board. So it's not an intake design for 8,000 RPM. It's also, you know, not super torquey like the 5.7s, because it's a medium length runner. Great for boost, great for an overall power curve, nice and flat across the board.
It is metal, so naturally there's some heat soak there, but
easy to port.
Yep.
It's one of the better ones to port for when you get into big airflow.
buy
So-
one now. The prices have only been going up.
Oh, yeah, they
It's
will
bad.
continue,
Yeah,
but-
I got one if anyone wants to buy it, but I
Yeah.
kind of once I get the 6.4 and the 300, I
Yeah.
kind of want to pick up a Eagle 5.7 manifold, and then just hot swap them on the dyno because that'll have everyone.
Yeah, that would cover everybody
Mm-hmm.
basically. But yeah, so that's kind of the OEM intake side of these things, right? The 5.7s are natural long runners. They do
Mm-hmm.
that for the low to mid range, make it real torquey. This is also why 5.7s from the factory shift at like 5,400 RPM in some situations, because they don't have the
low end.
runner length to utilize big horsepower up top in stock form. That's, you know, and why they do respond so well to a properly installed 392 intake manifold with an MSD switch. Again, the most common, and the way it works, so you guys know, is the motors on these, when you cycle them on or when you first test them and give them power, it goes through a check system and a sweep, and it basically verifies it's within spec. So if it's tired or something's out of a line,
Or someone modified it for more movement. Joking.
so, you know, it's one of those that, you know, if there's any reason, if you have it off the car and you're testing it and you try to put it on after, for example, it goes into a limp mode and it no longer actuates. Even if you have an MSD switch, it still won't do it. It's
Yeah.
built into the motor. So I've seen where people bench test it and don't realize what they do and then put it onto the car and then it won't work. So just keep that in mind, that they do have a restriction built into how they work, and they do basically calibrate on initial power. So
Kind of like how your throttle body does that little sweep when you
same
key
thing.
on. It's the same thing.
same thing. So that's how they work. Very simple design. Very simple design.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you are just a popular dude. So, yeah, any questions about manifolds, what we
Well,
recommend for
sure.
any application, get them in now. I know we have some questions that were shot over, so
Mm-hmm.
we'll go back to the beginning and start there.
Could you, should you, not even could you, should you, it's just a question. Does dynoing on a taller drag radial affect dyno numbers versus your normal set of street tires?
Yes, absolutely.
100%.
That's if you're right. So like as you see the shop cars on radials, we just don't want to keep swapping tires back and forth. If you have, it's not necessarily the height overall, more so the sidewall.
Yeah.
So we have videos constantly where we highlight it. You see it a lot in TRXs.
All the time.
While doing the dyno pull, you actually can see a radial or a very tall sidewall tire actually start to wrinkle on the dyno. So it's very much like at the racetrack, you guys that get the slow-mo launches and you see your tire wrinkle and then it unloads. Same exact thing happens on a dyno situation. Again, go back to our videos. You can see the TRXs do it. Some big radial cars that we have do it. Big horsepower cars do it even on street tires. Now, when that happens, what happens is that energy doesn't translate to the roller. So generally what you see on a very soft sidewall tire, and the bigger the sidewall, the worse it is, you'll notice at higher RPM, it starts to kind of really flatline. So if you look at our shop car, it gets to 530, 525, 530 wheel horsepower, and then it just kind of goes into a straight line. And the reason for that is the energy is now going into the tire instead of to the roller itself. Now, to understand how a dyno works in basic terms, it does its math equation based on the starting speed of the roller to the ending speed of the roller and the time that it takes to get from point A to point B, doing a math equation based on what the starting speed is and the ending speed. So you can't sit there and be like, oh, I did it in first gear, so it went from 5 miles an hour to 25 miles an hour, so I'm going to get a big horsepower. No, because it only went to 25 miles an hour. So it does need to see that stretch of mile an hour, and that's how the math equation works. So understand that it's based on the rate of acceleration of that roller. So as that tire starts to wrinkle and continues to wrinkle more, it slowly is slowing down the acceleration of that roller, which then doesn't translate into a reading on the dyno. So it can affect it. Also on Hellcats, because of the gearing that they have in the 8 speeds and what the rear end is for like the 262, we don't do 1-to-1 gear ratio pulls on the dyno in 6th gear because a 262 rear end far exceeds 200 miles an hour, and that's
sketchy, bro.
That's over the limit of the dynos, most dynos too. And it errors out. So we do them in 5th gear. So in kind of compounding on this question, the gear ratio changes with tire height. So an OEM tire height is roughly 28 inches, and you throw a 31-inch tire on it, it naturally is going to change the gearing and the application purposes of that. So transmissions and rear ends are torque multipliers when they work together, right? So naturally, if you go to a taller tire, it simulates that of a longer gear, meaning the number goes smaller, okay? So that's where if you have a 262 with a 31-inch tall tire, that's kind of like, my number might be off, it might be simulating like a 243 rear end, so your torque multiplication changes in that matter. So it can vary the output, absolutely. That's why consistency is key. That's why we keep the tire on it that we do on the shop car, even though it chews my radials up like crazy. We do it for consistency reasons. But what I recommend if you have a radial on it is air them up. Get them to 35, 36 PSI.
You don't want them soft.
Don't want them soft. It will just chew the tire up even more.
Suck power.
And also, too, I have noticed that a soft tire is easier to break loose with less air in it. As well, you would think the wrinkle helps. It doesn't, because it gives a slingshot effect at some point. So
it's like building tension, and then
it
just
breaks
breaks
loose. Yeah. And so that's why, like, from a roll race cars don't naturally benefit too all from 15-inch rim conversions. That you see guys generally stick with 17s, 18s, 20s even, because that wrinkle and snap effect breaks the tire loose just as easily as just the fact of torque itself. So very good question. Very good question though.
Now, on that, I had a follow-up question.
Yes.
That I just lost. Hold on. Oh, now let's say that you have a super lightweight set of radials and your only set of street tires is heavy. Could you lose power by going to the heavier set?
Possibly. Yeah, it's possible. So generally, if you have a standard, like a street tire and a radial tire on the same rim, the radial tire will suck horsepower out of it. Equal, right? Rim's the same and everything like that. If you have, we'll use slicks, right? Because slicks are super light. So if you have like an actual slick on there on a 15-inch rim, but then go to a 20-inch Pirelli P0, the Pirelli P0 is going to suck power down just because it's so heavy. So weight, as we all know, is a parasitic loss that sucks. I mean, it does take power out. So yes, the wheel tire combination can play an effect into it as well. Whereas, if you get, for example, a set of high-end, welds or build specialties or something that are actually lighter than the factory 20s and put a radial on it, it might make the same as stock or more because it's lighter in that sense. But like I said, like for like, radial to street tire on the same rim.
Go street tire.
Street tire for sure.
100%.
But, we don't like radials on our dyno because it does eat them up.
And we feel bad.
And we have to clean it up too. It does literally roll rubber off and shoots it everywhere. So
Dan makes a little snowman out of them.
No, it'd be Rubberman.
Rubberman. Sorry.
It's not snow.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
pedantics, folks.
Anyways, So
Next question.
we missed one from over
I
there.
did.
Yeah, first question.
This one?
This one.
I answered that out there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, okay. Well, you said okay. Perfect.
Now, all this short runner valve talk, we've been talking NA. What about boosted? Let's say I have, a Pro Charger on my 6.4. Can boost force the short runner valve closed?
Aubrey couldn't hang that poor thing.
Aw,
Yeah.
poor baby.
What
was that?
So can boost force the short runner valve closed? No, I don't think so. The motors on these things are very strong.
And they're geared.
They're geared naturally, and they understanding it doesn't create like a resistance by doing what it does. It just helps free up.
It changes which path the air is going.
Yeah, it's a path of least resistance.
The
right?
air is still not
Right.
forcing. It's coming out. So both spots there's air, so it's not.
Well, that's
fighting.
that's the other thing too. If you notice how it only opens, like I said, barely the width of a finger from factory. You don't have to, too low. It's fine.
They need to see.
If you want to show them again, that's fine.
We didn't cut it open for no reason.
I mean, we showed it already for like 15 minutes, but that's fine.
New people. See.
So that's more than what they do.
Oh.
So here, so lift it, open. Here, I got it. Open it. So just to show you, that is about how far it opens. So I'll close it so you can see. Get your are you ready? That's it. That's all it does. But like I said, we broke it, so it opens way like that. So it literally opens barely just a finger width. So there's still air that can come over the top of it through the long runner valve at the same time. So it doesn't like block it and then completely direct it. It just gives a path of least resistance. So in a boosted application, you definitely still want to utilize the short runner valve. Would you maybe want to change when it opens? That's absolutely a possibility, especially with a centrifugal blower or a turbo setup. Yeah, absolutely, you can play with that and assist. The same type of concept goes into boosted applications, guys. It's you want velocity, short runners, better for boost. It gets the air in quicker. But like on a centrifugal blower, because the airflow is slower at lower RPMs, having that long runner still helps get it in there quicker based on the velocity it has. But then naturally at that higher RPM, as that blower's really spinning, yeah, you want to reduce that path it has to go through to get there. So still very beneficial, still capable on those applications, turbo and any centrifugal blower setup. So I really don't see the need to swap it again unless you're going with like an air-to-water intercooler system. Or going, really, really big horsepower. I mean, we've made 1,000 to the wheels. And I'm probably going to rethink on how much boost that manifold can take after what it took for us to cut it apart.
It was a process. That's actually a follow-up question.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So, are we done with that last one?
Yeah. Will a ported intake make more power with boost, 7 psi from a 6.4? Also, have we ever seen them explode, or is there a boost where they just don't get happy?
So I have seen one explode. Well, not in person, but it was it's one of those things like
so on
being
TikTok,
involved with it. Yeah, right, TikTok. Now, mind you, it was on a turbo setup, and I wasn't tuning it. It's just something that was shot over to me after the fact when they were asking questions. At first, when you first look at it, you think it's like just glued together in this. No, it's actually welded together. It's ultrasonic welded together.
They shake it real fast, and then it melts into one piece.
Yeah, so I kind of take back and say, yeah, I'd probably be comfortable pumping 20 pounds of boost into it.
We'll try it on mine.
Yeah. And to kind of piggyback on the question, will porting the intake make more power? No, it will not. And this is the reason why. On a power adder application, right, we'll use a supercharger just because it's easy. So let's use a P1X, a D1SC, anything like that. You have it pulleyed where it's making 7 pounds of boost, okay? Understand that boost is a measurement of restriction. So that supercharger is spinning at a given RPM, and it's flowing a certain amount of airflow at that given RPM. Now, what could porting do if we open it up? Mind you, again, don't port your intake unless you ported your heads, okay? So if you're a 392 and you have a 392 manifold, porting your intake manifold will not benefit you because your port on your head is untouched.
You save that money for tires.
If you have ported heads, okay, and then you want to port the runner on your intake manifold. You won't necessarily gain power, but what it will do is help with resistance, meaning your boost level may drop and make the same power. So the blower is still only spinning as quickly as what it's spinning, okay? So it can't necessarily force any more airflow. But what it will do is just make the engine potentially more efficient if you have a ported head on top of it, okay?
Then pair it with some long tubes for even more.
Yeah, same thing, you know, that helps free it up on the back end because it's still forcing as that valve's open, right? So it's just kind of the whole shebang of how you can improve it. So
Brandon Siebert said tires.
Tires.
How fitting, Brandon.
The wrong T, turbos.
Yeah.
Turbos.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on it. Like I said, if you got a built motor, right, struggle to a 426 and still on a Pro Charger with that manifold, I think it's a beautiful manifold for what you're trying to do. Run with it, and porting it at that time may be beneficial, but it's all going to depend on the port on your head. You don't want the port on the manifold larger than the port on your head. That's what causes the issues that people see by going to ported intake manifolds. Every manufacturer that ports heads is different. Every procedure that they use is different. So you don't necessarily want to get a ported head from one company and then a ported intake manifold from a different company that has a different port program. So really, it's all about the overall recipe of it. So, but again, short runner being in place still can greatly benefit ported or NA. It's a great design. I mean, it is very beneficial. So.
I think that's about it. I mean, we got that. I don't know if that's a question or
This is
that was one of the things.
5.7
5.7 full bolt on ED5 cammed 6.4 ported intake. What do we recommend setting the short runner valve to?
Depends on the cam profile. So, David, for your 5.7 full bolt on E85 cammed, you have a ported 6.4, but are your heads ported to match the 6.4? Because if they're not, you're actually hurting yourself. Okay?
Same thing we just
kind of reiterating what we said. I don't see in that list that you have ported heads. So you just sent, again, the 6.4 port on here is already larger than a 5.7 port on a head stock. So porting it even more has a negative impact to the actual capability of it. Okay, so this is what we're talking about when it comes to making sure it all matches up. So I can't tell you what RPM to set it at because I don't know the cam specs. I will tell you, don't shoot the messenger, but running E85 is essentially useless from a power standpoint. You didn't bump compression up. 5.7s are low compression, so they don't really gain much. Is it safer? Yeah, I mean, higher octane is safer. Does it burn cleaner? Absolutely.
And it's cheaper.
Sure, until you use it because you use 30-40% more fuel.
Yep.
So it E85 on a 5.7 stock compression does not really add much benefit at all. Do keep that in mind. But like I said, it doesn't hurt to run if you already have it, but you're not gaining power by doing so. So keep that in mind.
Excuse me.
Let's see what else.
I can't see well today.
Oh
folks.
yeah, Justin about I was actually talking to Justin for you. I was talking to Carl about that. I'll explain to you since you're watching, Justin, what I'm seeing from a data log standpoint. The first time we were spraying it, the nitrous was super wavy. And I could see that because the boost would spike and it would drop, boost would spike and drop, boost would spike and it would drop. So spraying pre-rotor increases boost because it's putting oxygen into the rotors. We got that taken care of. What I'm seeing now is the nitrous hits, it bumps to like 24 pounds of boost, but then by red line it's dropping down to 21 pounds of boost, which is what you're pulling to originally. So that's why I'm pretty confident saying you're probably seeing like 1250, 1300 foot-pounds of torque, but we're struggling to see 1100 wheel out of it because it's almost like the nitrous isn't carrying to the top. Also, I'm seeing a rich condition that's staying there as if the nitrous is not fully being ingested to it. So could it, if you have your radial on it with the tall tire, could it be wrinkling a little bit? Absolutely, but I did share with Carl kind of my assessment on that, why I'm kind of unsure. It's hard for me. I'm just looking at a data log to see, and based on what timing is and where we're at, but obviously when boost level drops to 20 pounds of boost when you're normally at 21, 22 with the pulley only, And the reason why that would happen is because you're spraying pre-rotor, you're spraying nitrous and gas pre-rotor naturally. So, with the throttle body kit. So by doing so, if you spray nitrous and gas pre-rotor, but then the nitrous stops spraying, it's just putting gas into the rotors essentially at that point. Right? And then gas being compressed doesn't necessarily translate to the same thing as like oxygen being compressed. It's very different in the consistency. So kind of aligns, like for some reason we're losing nitrous on the big end. And that's what I know he's working on right now. So yeah, we do have nice weather until tomorrow.
Get on your bikes, get in your cars, put your top down, get your boats pulled out. I don't know if it gonna stay or it gonna go. But we finally had one last night.
Yeah, and somebody mentioning, that these have been around for so long. That the Gen 3 Hemi, and this is the reason why. I mean, you guys that followed us, we've had turbo TRXs. We had a twin turbo shop car that ran 850s with the cooled seats on. Yep. I mean, we have twin turbo red eyes. I mean, we've done the big builds. Really modifying it. That's kind of what all shops did, and they skipped over really kind of diving into the NA setup of it. The Hellcat kind of ruined it for the 5.7 392 guys. Same thing. That's kind of why the Eagle 5.7 and the 6.1 was a good motor, but the heads lacked flow capability compared to the Apache heads now. So
the pre-Eagles jump.
I've done a couple of like high compression 6.1 426s back in the day, and they weren't impressive. So what people and by design with the intake manifold, they just love boost. So that's what we did. You jump forward with technology now with VVT and short runner valves and really optimizing the efficiency of these engines. I really do feel like a lot of it was overlooked, and that's why we're kind of revisiting it the way we are. On top of it, not everybody wants to or can really justify going boost, right? They might be limited on octane or funds or whatever the case may be. And I'll tell you that these guys get it too. This isn't my first NA build, me personally, but like from a shop standpoint for the Gen 3 Hemis, it is. I have, 12 dyno pulls in that thing today? I have I'm over 85 or 90 dyno pulls. We have several dozen track passes. We hot lap the thing. Being NA is fun. I mean, as long as all the temperatures stay in check, you literally
don't have to worry.
Don't have to worry. Now
it's not like, am I going to lose a belt or an oil line or this, that, or the other? Like, there's a reason I'm building an NA car is because it's simple fun. You just get to get in it. You get to have fun. You don't have to worry about it. It just works. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, the record before we took it for a Charger was 10:58, and the Challenger was a 10:48. And just from my basic research on it, those were like Holley high ram cars, big old cut open hoods. You know what I mean? And they had under 500 DA. I mean, they 102 mil throttle bodies.
Literally glory pass. Yeah, big old throttle bodies, glory passes, and this, that, and the other. And
we did with 85 mil throttle.
We did a stock throttle body. Stock throttle body, stock intake manifold. It's a baby converter too. That was the other thing. I saw some of the converters in the cars. It's a 30. What's that?
The stock 6.4 intake or throttle body. It's a 5 mil, right?
No. It's 82.
Oh, yeah, I think it is 82. It's something. It was stock, so if anyone interprets that, it was a stock throttle body, I might have just brain farted. So, I agree that this has been leaped over, and it's kind of interesting to see that I'm not the only one kind of jumping back into the NA game with it. Shout out to the GM guys, right? They just had a 875 done with a 10-speed trans in a car that weighs 3,200 pounds. That's impressive.
And it's a 440 cubic inch 440 cubic inch, 15-to-1 compression motor. So that's pretty stout. Now, sadly, because of the Gen 3 design, we do get limited without, really essentially redesigning the head. But for what they are in the minimal changes that are made, they're very good flowing heads for what they are. So that's why we're in the process now of optimizing it. We went 1045 and 1600 plus DA. The car weighed over 3,700 pounds. Was hot lap, beat on like crazy. And in that same situation, I could have put the interior back in. It still would have gone 1070s, 1080s. And that's what's very cool is, I leave everything else the same way it is, but put my interior back in. The car's going 1070, 1080s, and 1600 DA.
You want a 10-second NA street car package? We got it.
So, And like I said, if I get glory air like that, bro, this thing's gonna go 1020s, if not a 10-1. And like I said, to just leap and if you give me the same situation, it would be outstanding. And like I said, it's all based on cam profile. It's based on what we call working smarter, not harder. And we're still testing. Hence why we ripped this open and we're doing tests on the shop car by playing with that short runner valve and bumping it every 100 RPM to see what it does. So a lot of data that we're really diving into it. And I don't have access to an engine dyno, so I just use my chassis dyno and beat on everything. So yeah, and you know, I trying to decide what to do next is kind of a fun thing, right? Originally it was set the stock bottom end record and sell it. But what I'm seeing and what people are starting to understand is we're not even close to, I think, tapping out the full potential of a stock bottom end. And we got some stuff in the works that I think will be very fun for others that are attainable and still, I think, will be under a budget of what a blower install would be.
3D printed rods and, oh no, that wouldn't be stock bottom end, sorry.
So, yeah, you know, it's one of those that we're opening doors for more performance for less and showing the capabilities that, you know, you can get a 10-second car for you know, good, decent budget, I think, and you get to be able to beat on it constantly. Reliability is huge for us, and you cannot argue an NA setup is way more reliable than, you know, a boosted setup in any situation. So,
It's stupid fun though.
yeah, I would love to do that. We are just a small shop, and like right now, I know there's guys waiting on tunes from me. So this is why we transition into the lives, because editing videos is crazy. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of time.
The time to capture all the material.
Capture it, edit it.
Right.
It's difficult. We would love to. We would love to. Honestly, we do. And this is kind of our transition period for it, where
this still gives you guys the content, but it lets us still be able to do our jobs and provide to you guys who are actively coming in.
Yeah, so you follow us more, you'll see that we do updates on the projects that we have. You'll get to see on a weekly basis how we progress through them. We show the updates, the things we find. Like we found another car that had two leaky headers on it after a build and making 1,250 wheel horsepower plus, right?
You want some new?
We had, I know. We had another car, brand new set of headers from the factory. Won't say the brand because it just happens, but leaking out of the box. So we put them on and had to take them off. Like, these are things we see and sometimes don't allow builds to go super smooth. But let us know what you would like to see, and we can do specific videos around that process. We absolutely love to do it. So
food reviews.
Food reviews.
Food reviews.
Without naming brands.
This nondescript burger.
Somebody asked what type of power you can gain from a 6.4 intake on an Eagle. It varies depending on the applications. If you got a cam, if you got long tube headers, if you got things in place, it can be as low as 5, and I've had over 25 horsepower in regards to peak pickup, but it also carries the horsepower further. So even if it's only a peak of 10 more, instead of falling off hard like the 5.7 does, it just carries out smoother. So it's not always about the peak, but the overall curve. Probably 2 or 3 dozen posts ago, if you go look on our Instagram or Facebook, we did do a 6.4 swap on one, and you can see what it did. And again, it wasn't massive peak, but it just kept that horsepower curve.
The Durango?
What's that?
The Durango?
No, it was a 5.7 car.
Oh, a Charger?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, that's many moons ago.
No, I just looked at it. It's only
is it?
Yeah, it's not far back on our post for it.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So yeah, depending 5 to 25 plus, depending. Like I said, if you have a 5.7 ported heads, and then you port, because remember the 5.7 port is smaller than what the 392 is. So if you port those heads and then do the 3, it's more beneficial. But yeah, you can get to 520, 530, 540 wheel horsepower on a properly cammed 5.7 with a ported head, long tube headers, and one of those. So you're talking through, stock scat pack numbers, which is great for a 5.7. You know what I mean? So you can get there, absolutely, but it can vary. Justin, for blower space or blower.
Did you say 520, 530, or 420?
420.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, hold on.
Yeah. So, Justin, the spacers, the blower spacers instead of the throttle body is usually more consistent, just because it's not getting compressed by the blower in any way, shape, or form, and it's direct fed into it. So you generally have a little more consistency on the control of it. But I don't know what's going on. So I do know he did resolve something because I'm seeing more torque naturally, but it's like up top. I can't give them more timing to gain back the 100 horsepower we're missing. Put it that way. It's where it should be for what it was supposedly pilled at. So something to continue to look into. But
can you pick up or lose power while street tuning? Like, say you had a dyno tune and now we're street tuning it to dial it in. Can we gain or lose power during that process, or does it stay about the same?
Why would you? So generally, the procedure that most do is we street tune for drivability, idle, startup, stop and go traffic, U-turns, left, right, up, down hills, things like that.
Normal driving.
We don't go wide open throttle. That's why we go on the dyno, is we do wide open throttle. So it's a safety thing. It has a measurement for it. So wide open throttle tweaking is not done in the street tuning phase of it, because that's what it is. Now, if seeking like remote tuning, in comparison there, like, do they make more power or lose power compared to a dyno tune? No, not necessarily, because we're listening to the car. So understand that the horsepower on the dyno truly isn't there because of the dyno. It's there because of what I'm seeing on the data logs from the car. That's just the result of what they're showing me there. So I'll see knock, I'll see misfires, I'll see airflows and feeling changes, right? I'll see pressure ratio in regards to the map sensor. I'll see all of these things to figure out if we are gaining or losing power. The easiest way for me to know, and you, if you review a log, is if you're hitting your AFR, look at your injector duty cycle or your pulse width and see how much fuel you're consuming. During these tests, that's one way that I measure, is as I'm introducing power and I'm dialing in the fueling, as I add timing, if it needs more fueling, I can kind of see where it's happy fueling wise and fuel consumption. So no, you don't necessarily gain or lose power by street tuning. There's no reason to really adjust anything at the wide open throttle, since that was done on the dyno. And then vice versa for remote tuning without a dyno. The results from remote tuning are usually more accurate actually from load, and I've done tests time and time again where I tune a car remotely and it stops by and I throw it on the dyno without a tune and just see what it does. And results on the data log are exactly what I'm looking for as if it was on the dyno, and we go from there. So great question. I know that that kind of goes back to the dyno tune versus remote tune, or which one is better or more beneficial. While testing, I can say, it is easier on the dyno because literally we make a tweak, do a dyno pull, make a tweak, do a dyno pull right on the street. You have to do some sort of review, whether, you're in Mexico using a Draggy or using our AI pool, log reviewer on our website to break down the changes, right? That takes more time. So yes, the dyno can be quicker, but you're not going to get necessarily a better result from dyno tuning. Track, street, wide open throttles are going to be the most accurate and deliver the safest, best horsepower for what the car wants. So good question though, for
now,
sure.
On that, there was something you mentioned when you were talking about, like, actually, I don't know. I think I'm confused. Never mind. Skip it. Forget I even brought that up.
Oh, that's not new. Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't bring anything up. So.
No. Well, it did in my head, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. We think that's about it. Good luck today, Justin. I think you should just pill yourself for a 300 shot and just really send her. Don Daughtry's already doing it, so
yeah,
you'll be fine.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see kind of what the data log shows with the nitrous hit. So it's going to be one of those, you're going to blow the tire off of it for sure, possibly, or you're going to get a nice 60-foot, but I'm curious to see that top end because of what we're seeing. So that would be honestly, that's, again, where dyno tuning could go to the track and the thing could run, 850 is the way it is, and it's just purely the dyno's just not reading the way we need it. So again, this is a perfect piggyback on it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. So what's up, Ryan? You missed the whole video, huh? Just kidding, but it's good. It's we're waiting for another track day, so I'm waiting on my heads to come in. Yeah, it's all good, buddy. I'm just messing with you, but waiting for our updated heads to come in. So she is just sitting. We've just been beating the snot out of her on the dyno, doing some testing for just information we talked about. Maybe when we're done, you can rewatch the video. We cut open a 392 intake manifold and showed how it works and why we are using this on our NA build instead of a highly high RAM or any other type of intake for what we're trying to achieve. So pretty informative on what the insides of that look like and how it truly works. But my car just spit out very consistent numbers again for another dozen or so dyno pulls in the past day or so. of just constant abuse. Sadly, the tracks around here have closed during the week. They're only open Saturdays and Sundays, and then sadly enough, as we approach the weekends, our weather has taken a dive.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Like today's beautiful. Today would be a perfect track day. I would reset my record today. They're not open. Tomorrow it's supposed to rain.
And possibly
and then it's supposed to transition into snow onto Sunday. So
I mean,
most likely
we could just get like sand paddle tires, and you know.
You know what I mean. It sucks, but they're not closed for the year. Both of them made posts that they're staying open, so it's just a matter of let's do some dances and stuff to, hope that we get one more track day in. Yeah, GLD just posted, but they're probably gonna be closed tomorrow because of the weather.
Yeah.
So, it's not looking too promising tomorrow. That's what I'm fingers crossed.
We're hoping.
Extended forecast, who knows? But it looks promising. So, Sunday I can't do, bro. I got football.
No, Saturday,
Saturday,
and you better have some fresh tires.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Yeah. Sunday this week is definitely a no, but
Yeah.
Saturday's, kind of where I'm at.
Speaking of, who wants to play football?
No.
No.
I am trying to rent the track one more time if they let me. It's one of those. It'll only be one lane, prep for radials, so I'm trying just because I know that the record's there. So you can go to GLD. I'll be there in spirit of a computer. So nobody's stopping you except those tires, bro. I don't really think there's a reason to go with the tires.
You're just going to blow them off, bro.
I got people.
Come on.
Whoa.
I just found out that I can make anyone I want a moderator, and they would have power to ban people, so I will not be doing that.
Oh, wow. You do.
I might.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff, if you're there, which you're not, you could have been a mod, but you're not, so you're going to be seeing this later, realizing you could be a moderator and could ban and mute anyone you wanted to, but because you're not here, you can't. Sorry, I don't make the rules. From a tuner's perspective, what would you want developed by the industry that would allow a tuner to gain better visibility of a remote vehicle to simulate an in-house dyno pull? A dyno.
No, so I don't care about a dyno. So again, reiterating, I prefer pulls at the racetrack, let's say, for legal and safety manners. The dyno, it doesn't always translate to the best tune. That's what we talked about is real world load, real person driving is going to happen on a road/track. So that is where the data I'm getting is going to be the most accurate. Now, there are dynos that have simulated load, progression area, and so on and so forth. I understand. I just am not at a point in my business yet where I can afford to purchase one of those. So until then, street/track, road and track is going to deliver the best results from a data log standpoint. So from those remote tuning points, I don't care about a dyno. I truly don't care about the number. I get it sells product. I get it, people get excited about it, so we have to reference it. I truly don't care about that number. Part of the reason is not every shop and dyno has integrity and honesty when it comes to sharing the results. So what it does for our community is people start to argue and share and feel that they're lost or they should make more power.
Oh man, well this guy made 1,300 on a 6-rib, Pro Charger. You guys should be able to too.
So I understand what you're trying to say there, but this is honestly from more of a end user like you from a remote tuning aspect. That's why I created this AI tool that I have, because what we like to see, right? I build my own car. Well, I used to build my own cars. Now I'm too busy, so I pay people to do it. But kind of like my customers, you guys pay, I pay my employees to do it, but I don't get to build them. But anyways, tangent.
That's the point.
Right. It's always about, it's nice to see the results. It's nice to see the changes, right? It's nice to see that. That's where the dyno is nice. It's like, oh, look what I did, look what I achieved.
And so it's a tangible bit of progression where it's not just a butt dyno where it's like, oh man, it feels so much faster after this. It's, dude, look, I picked up 200 horsepower.
So, so that being said, that's why I developed this AI tool that I have. So if for those that don't know, if you go to SateraTuning.com, my main website, there's a button for ST Beta, AI Beta there. and you can upload logs to it, and then it basically does an AI review of the log. It tells you your peak timing under wide open throttle. If you're a boosted application, it tells you your boost. It tells you if there's misfires. It tells you if your knock sensors are active. It kind of does an assessment of the data log for you. Also at the current time, it has a 0 to 60 timer capability, a 40 to 100 mile an hour timer, and a 60 to 130, because that's kind of the holy grail. I've been requested to add 50 to 150, so I might do that as well. Or 100 to 150 now, I think, is the new one that people are doing. So
could we do a 100 to 0? That way we can point and laugh if we got shoddy brakes.
So that is a tool for you as a remote. At the remote end, where after you do a data log, you're now able to parse that data log and upload it and see what type of changes are made. You get to see the results. And then on top of it, I have my customer base that is uploading their times for a leaderboard. So now you can kind of compare and see where you fall. Dang you, Don, for being the leader across the board there.
But 300 shot, brother.
That would just put him even deeper. Yeah. So in essence of that, I actually am creating the tool for that already for you guys on the side, because think about it. What is the two differences from a dyno versus the street? Beyond the safety,
wind resistance,
but it's also you get a printout. You get some sort of result, so you know what you're doing, right? So the tool, I'm continuing to advance it to where right now to upload a file, you have to submit your modifications to it. You know what I'm saying? So then you can go to the leaderboard and filter it by those modifications. So if you're a stock car and want to see where you compare to stock cars, you can see where you fall, and then it's a way for the results. For my fans, whatever I guess we were YouTube, so we can call them fans, followers,
or loyal subscribers.
Subscribers, yeah, that's
Hi,
it.
Subscribers. Remember to hit that like and that bell and that notification and that subscribe.
Well, so you say dragging in a home printer, so mine does the same thing, and we've verified my tool is within 1/10 of a draggy.
Yeah.
As long as the vehicle information is accurate. So it does rely on you to make sure things are reported, but some have reported the draggy might not be fully accurate pending your GPS signal and this, that, and the other. Mine is based off of the actual readings from the car. And
straight from the
computer. Amount of time that it gets recorded is so precise from, unisex is what it is for how quick it is, which is smaller than milliseconds, okay? So it is super precise. We've been pretty accurate. I have draggy results that show the exact same thing. The new piece I'm working on, which kind of works, I have to work on the filter. I'm actually building dyno sheets off of the data logs. So,
whoa!
It's based on the rate of acceleration from one point to another. So I'm working on that. Something on paper.
I'm going to block you for that one.
You can screenshot from my AI tool, but I am trying again for my remote tuning guys to, it is purely based on. You think about it. The dyno has no reference to anything. I can get a dyno sheet printed out purely by the reference of speed of the roller. So I'm working to get filters like that in place. Again, it comes down to the accuracy of you as the end user putting your information in there. You should get your dyno. I'll have this guy send it to you. So, but yeah, so it's purely more for you on the end to see what your result is, and I'm trying to figure out ways to do that for the remote tuning. 80% of my customers are remote tuned, and I never get to meet them in person. It's sad, but it's pretty cool at the same time. I can assist the way I do. So it's going to, and like I said, I'm going to try to get it as accurate as possible. I have no desire or need to inflate anything. So it will be pretty cool to see if I can get that tool very accurate. But it will come down to you making sure your modifications are selected accurately, and then, kind of see how we go about it there. I know there's variables because the trouble I'm having right now, and I'll just share with you guys, I uploaded it, I tried the filter by uploading a data log from my dyno, and then I uploaded one from the street, and it reported different readouts because obviously the load on the street is different than the dyno. So it's skewable, and that's where I'm trying to figure out how I can, adjust that. I might have a drop down of saying, dyno versus street, to see how that coordinates, you know what I mean? So these are things that
it's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress. So I'm trying to give you as the end user that result still. or I'll just put a disclosure on. This has to be from track use or whatever the case may be, and then base it off of that.
Someone's gonna spoil the fun and upload a dyno run.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it wasn't anyone's fault. I'm not
No.
gonna say who it was, but somebody uploaded. I think it was a 60 to 130 time that was like 1 second because it was a burnout.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, so I had to modify and adjust
Listen.
that. So I'm trying. It's
We
still
ain't that dumb.
a work in progress. That's why it's called a beta. It's buggy. Leave your feedback there. I do see that. So thank you those that have provided feedback for it. Just trying to make it better. But it's my way of getting a result to you guys for those that can't find or get to a dyno in-house. It'll be a good way to kind of assess as well. Timers right now have been doing great for us to see how those changes actually relate on the street versus a dyno, where I will tell you this, guys, there were settings I put on cars on the dyno that I saw results, and I have found by putting them up into this tool that once it gets real world and load and temperatures are on place, they actually weren't as beneficial as what we thought. So it has helped me learn, which is great about it. So always learning, always learning.
Squeaky chair.
Yeah.
But he's 100% trained by Jeremy, so sometimes he has to beat it into submission because it thinks better.
What?
Or not thinks better. It thinks worse.
What?
The AI tool.
Oh, I think it's
Yeah.
annoying sometimes.
Yeah.
I should name it so at least I can reference it
should.
on here. I should.
Didn't it one time say like it was like sorry for being income? No, that
Yeah,
was a different
no,
one.
it did.
Oh, that was
It
that one?
apologized after
Yeah.
I corrected it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
AI is a funny one. folks.
Training AI is
Yeah,
funny.
it's like-
interesting. I will tell you.
It's like
not.
worse than like a small child.
It is.
Because it knows more.
Yeah, and if you don't hit the right button, it doesn't remember. So you got to
Yeah.
remember. But that's kind of like small kids too.
You
Sometimes
don't
they
hit buttons on small kids.
No,
though.
but they don't always remember. You could literally have
No.
a conversation and like 2 seconds later they don't remember.
I mean, you're kind of talking about me there, but I ain't a small kid.
That's true.
Anyway, I don't think there are that many other questions.
Yeah, I think
Do
we're
you
good.
have anything else for the people of this land besides for them to hit the bell and subscribe?
I don't think so.
Remember
to say?
What?
Was there something I'm supposed to? I don't, dude. I'm still working on like 32 minutes of sleep.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I'm crashing hard.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, like the 17.
It got
ones.
hot in here too.
It did.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. So, like you said, like, subscribe, hit the
hit
bell.
the bell icon. There it is. You did it. Sorry.
He said he was crashing, and there he is.
I got excited,
He's back.
man.
So, again, hopefully feedback, and if you guys like it over on YouTube, we're a few weeks in, so we'll see if we keep going this way or switch back. But
I'm liking the quality, man.
yeah, the quality's nice when it works. Last week was rough.
It also
because of
seems
the
like we
weather,
get a higher average viewer count.
I think
We
so.
typically hit around.
Well, that's why
20
it's
out there,
important
yeah.
you guys subscribe.
Yeah.
Because we have 12,000 plus followers on Facebook and only like hitting
4,000
5,000
here, yeah.
soon. So we need to
As
make sure
soon
we get it
as
out there.
the YouTube hits 10,000, I am giving away a car to one of you lucky subscribers.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I will post that. He said it. Is it the Civic?
I'll tell you after the live stream.
Oh, dear. Okay, well, that being said, the mouse doesn't do anything down here for that phone, does it?
No.
So, I'm tired. All right, guys.
Bye.
Hey, oh, also, for those still in here, the 20 of you or so, we are closed on Monday.
Yes, Edmund Fitzgerald sank.
No, stop. ComEd is shutting us down for the day. We will not have power literally the whole day, and everything we do functions off electricity, so we will not be open. Our Black Friday specials start on Monday, so you will see that on our website, but we can't do anything about it.
Sorry.
So,
Pour one out for the Edmund Fitz.
yeah, but well, so get those questions in, get the quotes that you want in. We will not be here Monday. ComEd is literally shutting our power down. It's for good reason. We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah.
On the live.
Oh, that's gonna be a really good update.
Updates.
Holy.
So, so we won't be here Monday.
Sorry.
It's not out of choice. We are literally being forced. So, everybody have a good weekend. We'll be back in the office Tuesday. Shoot us emails, whatever you need. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.